I was never complacent, put my foot on the pavement. In my dream I was chasing, while my girl waited patient. Spent a lifetime on this music shit, going nowhere, I was losing it. She was right there enduring this, while her folks like, why she doing this? But Shawty didn't care what nobody said. She was gonna ride to the day I'm dead, stay by my side when the others fled. So I'm convinced that she deserves it all. She believed in me when chances were real small. I picture me driving a foreign. Can buy. Her beauty represents me well. She loves me and others can tell. Her heart is where my love would dwell. Talk about her man and she would rebel. I ain't ashamed, this ain't a game. She was right there in the storm and the rain. Endure the pain and the financial strain. Now she gon' shine with the fortune and fame. She gambled her life for me. She sacrificed for me. She deserves it all. It's only right, you see. No matter the price, you see. I picture me driving a foreign. Me driving and flying, now my history is changing. She's my day one and there is no rearranging. She's had my back through the times when things were straining. Now she benefit from every cent I'm gaining. Listen to what I'm saying. No dividing, no compromising. She gon' ride while I keep on climbing. Just recognize we gon' keep on thriving. She believed that I'll see greatness in due timing. I picture me driving a foreign. My shawty, she riding the passenger side. She riding the passenger side. 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was there from the beginning. She was there in the beginning. There in the beginning. He took me driving in the beginning. Foreign with my lady.
Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. It is Monday night. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. Let me break that down real quick. Sometime I was talking to some friends today, and they was like, yeah, happy Memorial Day, Kurt. I'm like, yeah, I love Memorial Day too, but I'm still living. And they said, huh? I said, let me break it down to you. So Memorial Day is an observance of all the veterans that lost their life in the wars that we've had. But then we go to Veterans Day, and that's to honor all veteran service members that are past or presently serving. So that's the difference in between. And it was just that sometimes we don't know what we know until we ask somebody, or you get in a situation that somebody leads you to the right answer or the right understanding of those two holidays. Memorial Day always falls on the last Monday of May, but Veterans is always on November 11th. So that was just a little tip today before y'all go out there congratulating all them veterans that are alive. They ain't dead yet. It's just Memorial Day, but God bless them, okay? But we want to thank you for hanging out with Life Coach Kurt. I have an amazing guest tonight. I want to just give a shout out to my sponsors real quick. We always know that my first sponsor on the board is 702 Braids for You. Cindy Michelle's over there banging heads. Y'all got to get on her, give her a call, get that special discount for being on the Life Coach Kurt show, or just tell them Life Coach Kurt sent you, and you can get a 10 to 15% discount. Then we got Red Rum Mobile Beauty Salon. I got my girl Jamisa over there still killing the game. Looking good, Jamisa. Oh yeah, Adriana, how you doing? You did amazing last Thursday on your panel, girl. Appreciate you coming out and showing what you made of and telling your story. It was absolutely amazing. And then I got my last sponsor there, Bougie Girls Vegas. Hey, little sis. Just a real good shout out. Little sis over there at Bougie Girls must be doing good. She just bought her a new condo. Outstanding. Black home ownership or minority owned ownership or anybody owning the home is always a blessing. And we're just going to watch that equity go up and see how that changes our lives, okay? But now we're going to talk about Kurt. Nah, not really. Y'all know all about me. We're going to talk about my brother from another mother. Yes, this guy is incredible. I just want to bring up one thing before I bring him on the screen, but you know how we live our lives and we do what we do because we're proud to do it. I've known Chaz for about 5 or 6 years. We met each other in the Payback program, Professionals in Youth Building a Commitment, as part of Clark County School District, and we're both motivational speakers. He is an amazing motivational speaker. I'm pretty good. I'm trying to get up to his level. But you know, we always compliment each other. We support each other's causes and things like that. And last year, I happened to be blessed enough to have a bunch of people with me, and we went into this spot to get some food and enjoy the brink drinks and everything. Can I say the name of the spot? Go ahead. All right, it's the Sugar Factory. All right. We went into the Sugar Factory on Las Vegas Boulevard. And you know when you walk in somewhere and you say, oh man, I know him, that's Chaz. And so you just gotta get over there and say, hey, what's up? But you know what, when you really know that people will have a lot of respect for each other and what they do, Chaz made that the most incredible afternoon, dinner, lunch. I mean, he went way beyond anybody would do when it came to service. Got his manager, the store manager involved to come over and introduce to me, and he said, Chaz said you his brother and I need to take care of you the way I take care of you. I'm like, okay, sir. Man, it was just so incredible. I think the cost of it we gave him in a tip because everything turned out like it didn't have no price to it. I don't know what he did. I know we had a little Groupon for like 80% or something like that. But when you run into people in your life and you treat them the way they should be treated and you don't ask for nothing, but they just do that because they think it's the right thing to do, man, those are the people you surround yourself with because you give them the same respect whenever you have that same opportunity. And that's what my mother did. I ain't never forgot that. And everybody's like, Kurt, you know everybody everywhere. Yeah, I love Las Vegas. This is our city. And when you're out doing work in the community, you meet community-minded, incredible people. So I say, don't just be your keeper, be your brother's keeper too. And get out in the community and do that work and watch what blessings come out. So if we could go ahead and bring Mr. Chaz Perez in and let everybody know, man, this is my brother right here. Absolutely incredible person. We're going to hear about his story. We're going to catch a clip of a video that he did on TED Talks, which just floored me. I think I watched it like 6 times, and I pick out little powerful things he says, and you be like, I hope everybody caught that. You know, so you'll get a chance to see it as well. It's a condensed version of his that he did after his original one. Absolutely amazing content. And there we go. How you doing, Chaz?
I'm fantastic, John Kirtley. Happy to be here. What's good?
Man, living my best life, and that's what this show is all about. It's about people that I've noticed over time that's actually living their their passion and living their purpose. The passion that you have for your subject is absolutely incredible. I remember talking to you back in one of the schools when we first met and everything. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting, and that's a subject not many people talk about. You know, on my advertisement today, I was tossing it around what it was all about and everything. But I just want you to give us your version. We're going to have you talk and do the introduction, then we're going to key up this video for you, and then we're going to go into our questions and get through the whole program and make sure that everybody knows what an amazing person you are. So if you can, Chaz, give us a little bit about your background, how you got started in that field of dyslexia, your foundation that you have, and we're going to move through that. But you're going to do the talking, I'm going to do the listening, and then I'm going to throw some questions in between.
Sounds fantastic. I'll give you about a 3 or 4 minute version of that. I grew up here in Las Vegas, born and raised. For those of you who know Las Vegas, I grew up behind the college on Cheyenne and at Pecos over there. Not a very friendly neighborhood. Went to Cheyenne High School. Grew up struggling. First grade was very difficult, not only environmentally, but then in school as well. I could not learn to read. I tried so hard, I could not learn to read. In fact, there was a moment when we were doing a spelling test, and my teacher, Mrs. Wilson, made a comment to me over my spelling. She goes, "Are you stupid?"
Ooh.
Not another one of you. And I've weathered much abuse in my life, different forms, different kinds. But I'll tell you what, that narrative has been the most negatively impactful thing I have ever gone through. It's amazing what a word can do.
Yes, sir.
And so, struggling to learn to read, feeling that the future wasn't a place for me. Did not really learn to read probably until about 7th grade. I remember my dad used to spend time with me, letting me labor through books well below my grade level. Thanks to him and his involvement, I was able to catch up. I'm still not the perfect reader. I still have some issues here and there. But I know that a lot of kids, just like myself, do not survive that. Really quick, about 65% of people who have dyslexia, which is what I have, which is a reading, an issue that affects reading, do not graduate high school. 65% of dyslexics do not graduate from high school. We're talking about 1 out of 5 kids, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's 60 to 70% of us, of kids who are in detention centers, have dyslexia.
Yes, sir.
Half of all the youth and drug and alcohol rehabilitation centers have dyslexia. We know where these kids end up, right?
Yes,
we
sir.
know. Study out of Texas revealed that 80% of their whole prison population were illiterate. But watch, but then they screened the prison just for dyslexia. Half of the whole prison had it. We know where these kids end up when there's not reading intervention. So that's my passion. I like to quote Rumi, who said that the light enters the body through the wound. The light enters the body through the wound.
Yes.
So my passion comes from my personal experience and not being able to read and how that affected my whole entire life. I made it out. But a lot of kids simply do not. So,
Outstanding. Wow. Right here. You know what? I forgot you told me you was born and raised there. What high school did you go to, Chad?
I went to Cheyenne High School.
Ah, you went to Cheyenne. I'm a alumni of Votech, which is called Sector now, but, SNVTC, go Road Runners,
The
huh?
smart kids went to Votech.
That's what they always say. I don't know.
Like in the bacon program or what?
No, I was in the computer program. I was writing Fortran and COBOL, and our computer took up like 3 rooms like we're in right now. It was huge. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, you hit on a couple of things. Now, I work with a company called Young Adult Youth Advocate Programs Incorporated, and we work with children in the juvenile justice system, teenagers young from like 10 to 18. And what you said about understanding some of the deficits of why these kids end up in those situations is some of them can't read, and I always make it a purpose, especially when it's 101, to get them comfortable with reading and understanding that we all in this together. If you stumble on the word, I'm going to help you with that word. But to articulate and be able to read is one of the resources that you need to move from one socioeconomic group to another. You have to be able to understand and comprehend to have a good life. I'm sorry. I mean, you can do a lot of other things that might take you to the left, and that's only temporary because there ain't no retirement in it. Like I always tell my students, I don't want you to change your hustle. I just want you to change your product if you're doing something that you don't need to be doing. They be like, wow, so what should I do? We give them some ideas. But reading, there's different kind of registers that they talk about when it comes to reading. Full register is when you read in the way tests are written, because that's the way our tests, the SAT, ACT, ASVAB for the military, they're written in full register. Then there's casual register, which is what we speak to each other every day in a non-structured format. It's just like a little slang that we use or keywords that we use in our everyday talking. Like on the Wong show before us, the producer and the rapper was saying things that we had no idea what those words mean or what they pertain to, because that's casual register and they understand it, but the average person wouldn't, because you're not in that industry or you're not doing that. So that's the thing that it's about reading. we think about, I remember people used to say reading is fundamental. No, it's fundamental for those that don't have dyslexia. Okay, that's when it's fundamental. But for the other ones, we need to identify that. And after watching your TED Talk, it really set me back to think like, am I in the position where I can advocate for those children as well and push my little power up through the school system so they really understand? Because they're quick to put somebody on an IEP but not understand why they're on it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, it's the truth. I'm in and out of the schools all the time, you know. And most of my clients are on IEPs, and we really don't pull back the layers to understand the why behind that. And that really you got me thinking on that. When you posted that one, I was like, oh my God, am I doing enough? Because that's the type of people we are. We hang around with people that want to take action on certain things. So if you get the chance, I'm going to have Alex go ahead and key up this video. We're going to watch this really quick, and then we're going to break it down, and some of the questions I'm going to ask will break down some of the scenarios that have gone through that. But like you said, the detention centers is where most of these kids end up at because they're not identified at a young age. Is it hard to identify dyslexia at a really young age, like 5, 6, and 7, or is there a difference when they become teenagers?
No, you can identify a kid with dyslexia by age 6.
Oh wow!
By age 6, definitively. The issue really here is that the school district and special education programs are using systems of thought that are archaic, that are 20, 30, even 40 years old.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you would think now should be one of the most major pushes because technology has taken us so far into the future. We need our education system to catch up with that. Maybe somebody's on the back talking about it, but we don't see it on the forefront. We're not hearing about it on the news or anything like that. Or even in school board meetings, because when school come up next year, Chaz, we got to get together, bro. And we just got to go down there, and I'm 100% in. We got to go let our voices be heard, because I love speaking at school board meetings. I've done many while I was on the state board for the Nevada Parent Teachers Association. Because if they don't hear us, they don't know, really. Because it's not part of their everyday that they see that's in their faces, you know? So that's it. How we doing on queuing that up, buddy? Good? Go ahead and play it. Thank you. Now, here comes a TED Talk by Chaz Perez. And what was the heading on it, Chaz?
Unleashing Linchpin Innovators.
There you go. I didn't want to mess that up, and I didn't write it down. So I'll stand it. And here we go. Enjoy.
What if many of our greatest minds who have a unique superpower for linchpin innovations spanning many fields are today wasting away behind bars? And what if one of the main culprits were our very schools who are today ignoring the science of reading and are therefore preparing the next generation of children with this unique superpower of innovation for a life of shame and incarceration? Dr. Maya Angelou said that the elimination of illiteracy is as serious an issue to our history as the abolition of slavery. Many years ago, while living in Thailand, I heard the most beautiful proverb that said, a heart can only be won with another heart. I offer mine. My courage was not truly measured by the intense confusion and rage I had when a grown man burned a cigarette on my knee when I was just 6 years old. No. My courage was not measured the day that I had to throw a butcher knife at my mother's boyfriend to protect her from being hurt by him. No. The day by which all days would test my bravery was a day in first grade, when my teacher, Mrs. Wilson, with her red bouffant hair and freckles dotted across her cheeks, told us all to get out a piece of paper and write 1 to 10 to prepare for a spelling test. For starters, not clearly understanding her directions, I numbered my paper laterally, side by side, instead of horizontally, as one would do to prepare for a spelling test, with my numbers and my letters all very backwards. Two common features of dyslexia. But my teacher, Mrs. Wilson, was not trained to see it. And when she began to walk around and check all of our work, she finally approached me. And she looked at my paper. And with a tone of disgust and a scowl on her face that I can still see in my mind, our eyes met. And she said, "Are you stupid? Not another one of you." And Mrs. Wilson's words came true. I could not learn to read as the other kids, no matter how hard I tried, year after year after year, even in special education classrooms. So it continues in our schools with many of our dyslexic children who go unscreened and undiagnosed, therefore never receiving even the possibility of proper reading remediation. Brene Brown says that stories are data with a soul. About 1 in 5 of us have dyslexia. It is a neurobiological difference of the brain that affects reading and other areas of learning. It doesn't go away. It is not corrected by glasses. But the real tragedy here, the real story, is that among those who have dyslexia, 65% of us never graduate from high school. And half of the youth in drug and alcohol rehabilitation programs have dyslexia. And 60%, and some research shows it could be up to 70% of youth in corrections have dyslexia. We know where too many of these children end up. A study out of Texas revealed that 80% of their whole prison population were functionally illiterate. Watch this. They screened one prison in particular just for dyslexia. Almost half of the whole prison had it. Is that a fluke, or would we find similar numbers to all those incarcerated? And is it any doubt as to why the vast majority of suicide notes, almost 90%, have dyslexic type spellings on them? The data is compelling. The first benchmark of intelligence is reading, and when that becomes a space of systemic despair, the emotional consequences often result in a lifetime of shame. Gershon Kaufman, a psychologist and shame researcher, said that people who cannot read or cannot read well experience the same levels of shame as those who've engaged in incest. But allow me to frame it in a different way. I was about 9. My father bought a brand new computer and a small desk. And as soon as he set it all up, he said, "Chaz, do not play by the computer." As he headed to work the next day, I walked straight into the computer room to play on that fun new spinning chair. My arms are flailing, resulting in me clobbering the little desk and the monitor until it came crashing down on the floor. Hours later, he would return home from work, and now he's sitting in that computer room. And I'm sitting on an old, ugly brown couch with my clammy hands looking at my feet. Now, whoever raised you probably had a special name for you. Perhaps your name is Sarah, but your mother called you Sweetie. My dad used to call me Kiddo. And I'm on the couch, and I hear those final footsteps walk out to me. Now I'm looking at his feet and my feet. Do you know what my dad did to me? He picked me up and held me tight and said, "Don't worry about it, kiddo. I can buy another computer." What does that story have to do with dyslexia? Absolutely everything. What is proven by the shame researchers, you know perhaps intuitively, you cannot reach any potential in hiding. It's a safe space or a grace in real time, plus bravery that removes shame. And our current school systems have sent and are sending millions, yes, millions of our children into a lifetime of shame and hiding by not teaching them to read the way they learn. This epidemic is a mass production of non-readers and low achievers. And the economics data reveal the filthy truth. That is, that we are more willing to spend money to put illiterate Americans in prison than we are in teaching children to read the way they learn. And what is most disturbing of all of this is that for many decades, there has been research-based curriculum that can move almost all dyslexic children forward in their reading. The most dynamic, called the NOW program, developed by Dr. Tim Conway. But schools refuse to use it due to old or outdated policies. And with little to no mandatory training on dyslexia in the teacher accreditation process, who can blame the teachers? You see, it's not that children are suffering from dyslexia. No, it's that teachers are suffering from dysteachia. As a leader in the field likes to put it. And there are very expensive private learning centers in every major city that have a virtual 100% success rate in remediating children with dyslexia using a research-based multisensory method. These methods, and Dr. Conway's, must be used in the public schools now. Children are suffering while adults are fumbling and deciding what to do. And we should not be shocked to find that among our communities of color, children with learning disabilities experience much higher rates of school disciplinary action and even higher rates of school dropout. Who in our society is suffering from extreme, disproportionate incarceration rates? You know the answer. There's simply a deep relationship to getting your child's reading needs met and your income. George Bush I was right when he said that reading is the new civil right. Because if you cannot read, you cannot be educated. If you cannot be educated, you will not succeed. How many schools are really prepping kids for a lifetime of shame, crime, and yes, incarceration? Reading is the new civil right, and dyslexia needs to be intertwined with our national conversations on race, inequality in the school-to-prison pipeline. And what's so peculiar is that schools screen for hearing problems, they screen for vision problems, they screen for lice. But they don't screen for dyslexia, an issue that affects about 1 in 5 kids. How many children have been passed through the system, unscreened, undiagnosed, passed as behaviorally untreatable, believing that they are not smart, unfit for a dream, when one of the main pieces in this equation that's not smart are the policies on dyslexia that are in place, and the belief by any teacher, parent, or principal that would suggest that dyslexia is only a weakness. Maybe it's our very beliefs that need to change, because dyslexia can be a superpower. Now, when you see me, do you see a man with originality, or do you see a man with a disability? According to a study out of the UK, 97% of people see dyslexia to be purely a disability, when there is no correlation to IQ. And Dr. Sally Shaywitz, a leader in the field out of Yale, says that it's actually like an island of weakness in a sea of strength. Let us focus just on innovation. Our wheelhouse is out-of-the-box thinking, because we ourselves were never in the box, seeing things that neurotypicals often cannot see, noticing connections and patterns, which often translates to an uncanny ability to seeing outcomes while having only partial data. I've heard some researchers refer to this as fortune-telling. This was the gifting of Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, Walt Disney, Michael Faraday, the scientist, who are all dyslexic. In other words, we often have the genius of seeing the tree and the seed. Is that not the magic of living in unseen possibilities that we all covet? We, dyslexics, are responsible for the light bulb, the movie camera, flight, the telephone, the iPhone, IKEA instruction manuals. the general theory of relativity, and many more iconic inventions. But my favorite is Mickey Mouse. Now that's what empowered dyslexic can do. Now, does every single dyslexic child have the aptitude for such levels of innovation? Absolutely not. But does every single dyslexic child have immense potential for much higher levels of success than we ever give them opportunity today? Absolutely yes, because on that same side of the coin, we, dyslexics, are the linchpin innovators of history. And all evidence suggests that those innovators' genius were not in spite of their dyslexia, but because of it, because dyslexia can be a superpower. Now imagine if my teacher, Mrs. Wilson, was trained and understood what dyslexia was. And when she saw my paper, she would have said, "Oh, Chaz, you're going to have to work so hard, but there's gifts and greatness in you." Imagine if I and the millions of other dyslexic children were exposed to our strengths as early as formal education began, and were taught to read. Wow. Everything right in the world began with a single person's idea. That's why we're here. Imagine if the one who could unlock the mysteries of global warming definitively for both sides is sitting behind bars. Imagine if the one who would find a cure to cancer is serving a life sentence. Imagine if the one who would write a book that would become a talisman for millions is sitting in a cell in isolation with no pen. Each of us must tell our story to complete our journey. But what is woundedness when it begins to target certain groups over others? Do we not call that discrimination or oppression? But we are talking about a category of people, children no less, who are systematically told that their story doesn't matter, that their ability is a disability, and that recovery is not possible. My hope is to put a new and different image in your mind of oppression, one that is affecting all of our schools, your life, and the future innovations that will heal our world. This is a repression of innovators, of brilliant children incarcerated, and the tragedy of wasted talent. And one of the keys is this, and we say it in dyslexia all the time, that if a child cannot learn to read the way we teach, it's time we teach the child to read the way they learn. Some would ask, what about me? All I can tell you is that one day, somebody showed me a grace in my reading. My dad would sit with me for hours, letting me labor through books well below my grade level, until one day, many years later, I caught up, read my first book cover to cover with true comprehension in 7th grade. I was blessed. My dyslexic dad had the genius to see the tree and the seed. And since then, the kindness of another mentor, I've been paying it forward. I spent years overseas loving the poorest of the poor, doing abolitionist work in Asia, serving Muslim immigrants in Europe, and working in special education classrooms. But most recently, I founded a nonprofit that helps children with learning differences find new narratives about themselves, because dyslexia can be a superpower. And my gift of innovation is with words. I paint those words on the hearts of men, women, and children. But today, I'm talking to you. Listen. What shame are you on the cusp breaking out of? Don't worry about it, kiddo. It's a tree in the sea. Thank you.
Man, oh my goodness. Did you just hear that presentation by my brother? I'm sitting up here and I've watched it many times, but it just puts a smile on my face listening to Chaz articulate every inch of that presentation. He must be a Toastmasters guy.
Must be. Must be some Toastmasters up in there.
Absolutely incredible. I'm sorry. Before I let you go and tell us a little bit of how that all happened, I got to give some gifts because my brother was dropping keys, dimes, quarters. I mean, let me hit this couple of them. I got them all over my paper. I had like 15 other questions, but I'm going to just go to here. Man, the tree and the seed. That's what it is, man. Our kids, we're the
Opens up
trees.
everything right
oh
there.
my
Everything.
goodness. And let me tell you how powerful your word is. As individuals, as people, our words are so powerful. The refraining from the teacher saying, "Are you stupid?" to changing it to the fact that she said, "Oh, it's going to be a little harder for you, but I see greatness coming out of you." Changes your frame of mind. Man, that's what we got to do with our children. But people just get too caught up in the negativity. The power of the word. I'm reading a book right now. It's the four. Man, I just ordered it the other day. Somebody told me about it. And it was on a panel I was on Thursday. I was helping out with. And she said, this book changed my life. And you know me, I'm like, go to Kindle. I don't do audio yet. I'm going to get there because I like to read it. But it was so amazing because it says the power of our words. What we say really can change somebody's life. What was that? Looking at oppression. We're oppressed. If you can't read, you're being oppressed. And then you end up going into the left and going the wrong way. And that's how incarceration continues to grow because we are not doing what we need to do. As individuals or as America, we're looking at it the wrong way. Innovation should change everything. Reading is the new civil right. Come on now. Reading is the new civil right. Because if you look at the whole movement, any movement, it has a backside and it has a front side. If we can get more people to read, we can deter increasing incarceration.
Yes, sir.
Come on, they go together. It's a parallel right there. Prison to reading. Man, that says reading to stay out of prison. I like that even better. But we have to understand, if there's parents out there that you just can't figure out your young kids, because it's easier to teach young children than to repair broken men. Okay, yes sir, Frederick Douglass, and that's where we got to start at. We have to be more apt to identify these issues ahead of time, and then learn more about it so you can argue with teachers and administrators and say, no, you're not hitting it, you're not understanding. Oh, wait a minute. I got a TED Talk on my phone. Let me show you this so you can get some education. Come on now, come with me. It's just amazing. Man, a heart can only be won by the heart. Did I say that right? Man, is that real? Teachers are behind in understanding how to notice when a child has dyslexia. So as a parent, who do we advocate more than anybody? Our children. So we have to stand up and fight. I could go on and on because I'm just blessed to have you in the house today, Chaz. But I want to go with this one. What's the common myth about dyslexia, and how can you debunk that myth?
That's a great question. Number one, dyslexic people are stupid. Dyslexia means you're stupid. If that's so true, then why are 30 to 40% of the self-made millionaires in the U.S. and abroad dyslexic?
Hello.
Including Damon John.
Okay.
Including Damon John, Richard Branson, you get Walt Disney. I named a few of them.
Yes.
I can go on and on and on. MIT, little school.
Yes.
Maybe some few you heard about that school. I don't
Little
know.
school.
Maybe not. I don't know. They call it a dyslexia school.
Wow.
1 out of 2 NASA scientists, dyslexia. So the thing is, why there's this huge delta in outcomes of kids going into life of crime versus extreme success is because of, quite frankly, money.
Yes.
Early reading identification intervention. You know, it's very easy to see how communities of color are disproportionately. I call it it's a form of discrimination. You know, if you cannot read. If you cannot read, you cannot lead.
Yeah, thank you.
If you cannot read, you cannot lead. It is just that simple. And so That's the main myth. That and you know what? A good friend of mine who is a DJ on 88.1.
Okay.
He said it perfectly. I won't name him.
Okay.
But he's a good friend of mine. He goes, the problem with dyslexia, Chaz, is dyslexia does not sound cool. And he's exactly right. He's exactly right, because if dyslexia was propagated in a better way or marketed in a better way,
Right.
it would change the narrative on the minds of parents, teachers, educators of all levels. So in a sense, I'm here to change the narrative that dyslexia does mean cool. Okay. In fact, if you have dyslexia, that means you have an advantage.
Thank you.
Okay. So whoever's out there, a parent who has a struggling reader, I want to encourage you. You have a child that is definitely has some issues, but you know what? The potential is so dynamic and so it has such a potential to be a combustible mass for your child to achieve great things. But you got to get intervention. You got to hound the teacher. You got to hound the special education teacher and say, I want my son or daughter screened for dyslexia. And then we could go on from there of the details with that. But that's the main myth, that dyslexia means you're stupid.
Right.
It does not mean that. In fact, it literally means you have an advantage. Dyslexia is a neurobiological difference of the brain. I mentioned that in the talk. That affects about 1 in 5 kids. That's a lot of kids. 1 in 5?
Yes.
Really? I think it's only 3% of the population know that they even have dyslexia.
Okay.
But yeah, back to you.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just seen something else you said, and I seen it on my paper. Oh, okay. So if we talked about you yourself and your drive, you got your nonprofit and everything. Of the many accomplishments that you've achieved along this journey, trying to get this information out of us about being dyslexic, what would you say was your biggest accomplishment? Was it when you opened your nonprofit, your foundation, or was it just helping change some people's mind about how to look at it, like with this TED Talk you did?
No, I would say definitely the TED Talk was the biggest accomplishment because it has the biggest reach.
Okay. Yes.
I do have definitely more personal stories that I could share, talking to kids as you do, of just for example, I was talking to a special ed classroom. This is right before the pandemic hit, and I told this a simple story. And I look out to the little classroom of about 20, 30 kids.
That's what we do.
Not a single dry eye. Not a
Okay.
single dry eye. It's the power of connection. It's the power of vulnerability. It's the power of, I struggle with this too. You can
Right.
come out. It's not just you, and I'm making it. You can make it.
Touch that heart.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
that's what it does. You got to reach the heart and let people understand. Already got that one. So there's a lot of unique skills that you have. I just hear about them all the time. And the sad thing about what we do is when we go and do a payback, we don't never get to go in each other's room and listen to the presentations because we all have our own classrooms, I mean, I don't even think we do teams anymore. I haven't did somebody in my room in probably 15, 20 years because we're so powerful. But what unique skill that you have, that you think you have, that helped you achieve the success in your field?
I'll quote Steve Jobs here. He says, the most powerful person in the room is the storyteller.
Yes. Yes.
Why? The reason is because by telling a compelling story, you can circumvent someone's logic. And not in a bad way, but in a good way. You can go right to the heart of the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
And when reading became difficult for me, I became stronger in speaking and communicating.
Okay.
So it's literally what the devil meant for evil, God meant for good.
Okay now. Exactly. Wow.
All things work together for the good for those who love, him. And so, but with that, no, definitely the greatest advantage is that I've become a better communicator, and particularly with storytelling. I have a arsenal of maybe hundreds of stories that I can use on cue to communicate exactly what I would like to communicate. And it is as sharp as a scalpel with a doctor with a scalpel in his hand, communicatively.
Okay.
And I mean, I could use this skill in sales. I could use this skill in fundraising. I could use this skill in so many different areas. But particularly I call it storytelling, and that's really what it is.
Yes.
That's really what it is.
That is it. Telling our story. That's what we do. Even what we do in Payback, we kind of get up there and tell our story, and then that opens up, and then we go into certain other things like getting them eyes wet and things like that. We go into the meat of it, and because people love to hear stories. Facebook is good for that because when people travel a lot or they're always out doing everything, they have like 15 people that follow them and say, "Oh, what we doing tonight?" Because that's a story. It's a visual story, or the notes that we put in there and talk about what we're doing. You're helping somebody else live their dreams through you. You never know. Somebody can't afford to go on vacation, but when you do, they right there with you. That's what Facebook does and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, another question I got. And golly, Chaz, it's such a blessing. Every time I watch that TED Talk, I just sit there and smile. And who does that at a speaker? But it's just so genuine to see you so eloquently do what you do. I mean, it's just and to know you as a personal friend. Yeah, I haven't had lunch at your house yet, but I'm sure that's going to happen sooner or later. We're coming out of the pandemic. We appreciate things more now that we missed for a year, right?
In fact, you're coming over Friday. I'm telling you right now.
I'm there, man.
Bring the kids.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Many people think that dealing with children with dyslexia is challenging, and to the point that it becomes overwhelming and too much to handle. Why do you think people believe that?
It's because so when a child does not find, okay, take a kid who has a troubled home life, or
Yes.
perhaps even a little bit, okay, so he goes to school and is hopeful and is changing the environment, and he's looking to have some sense of mastery in that new space,
Okay.
and then he fails year one, and then he fails year two, and no matter how hard he tries, he keeps failing. I think that the thing that the culture at large does not understand is the emotional consequences when a kid cannot learn to read. Of course he's going to act out,
Yes.
because he's looking for attention and another space to find mastery in, even if it's comedy. And how many times have we seen that?
Yes.
One of my favorite comedians, tip of my tongue now,
Kevin Hart?
he did a TED Talk, Michael, oh my goodness.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, he credits his dyslexia from his comedy,
Right.
right? But the point is that a lot of kids act out behaviorally because they find no mastery in school because they cannot read, which is the first benchmark of intelligence.
Yes.
Okay, and so of course the teacher's going to be irritated, and principal's going to be irritated dealing with the same kid. Well, I'm going to tell you, principal and teacher, is because you are not using a program that is able to teach these kids to read. You're using absurdly archaic reading, early literacy material. It is not working.
Okay.
Jar Jesus, if you are listening to this, I hope this gets to you some way. You have an opportunity to reform the whole Clark County. Use Dr. Tim Conway's stuff, and you will find tremendous success. That's a word to the
See
man
that
there, but
plug? That's it. We need to go talk to him personally.
reform. We need an overhaul. It's
Yes.
not working.
Okay.
Yes.
No, man, we got work to do, and we got to get their attention. And I think at this upcoming school year when everything opens, yeah, they're gonna be bombarded by a lot, but this makes sense. It really makes sense, and we got to get it moved to the top of the agenda. Just like the algorithms on social media, you got to keep hitting it to keep it at the top.
Yep.
You got to keep posting so you get more views on it, so people understand what you need to do, what they need to change or hear. Oh man, life is good. Now, these next set of questions, these are some of my fun questions. But first, I remember you said Walt Disney. He was dyslexic. And then you mentioned Mickey Mouse. How ironic, because I've listened to that so many times, that as every one of my guests, they get a dear gift from me. But yours is in the Mickey Mouse bag. This is the way we do it sometimes.
Beautiful. Look at that bag.
There you go, sir.
Oh, man, thank you.
One of those beautiful, one of my
Wow.
beautiful shirts, sir. And then go ahead and pull it out,
I'll
take a
pull it
look
out.
at it.
Okay.
And it's the amazing color. One of my sponsors, she does a great job of making these different shirts for me and keep me going. So every one of my guests that come on get a shirt. And that's great. Hey, living your best life with Life Coach Kurt, and the passport out of poverty is education. See that correlation? Come on now.
It's
help
connected.
me.
It's connected.
It's connected.
Connect those dots.
Connect the dots. That's it. So, some of the fun questions. These are some of my favorites. So, if you had to have a favorite word, mine is outstanding. I'll probably say it like 50, 100 times a day if that's a number, because, you know, when you look at things in a positive light, everything is outstanding. Even if it's upside down, you're going to flip it. It's just the way my brain is wired, because I have to be conscious of my words. So what is your favorite word?
My favorite word is epiphany.
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 Nice.
Yeah, it's
Go ahead and break it down for me, what it means to you.
For me, it means when there is a convergence of information plus divine intervention where your mind has that illumination.
And it takes it looking like, wow, I've seen this before. Bing, what an epiphany. Okay, I like that. I like that one. Okay. Now, this is a hard one when it comes to people like us, because we never look at what we're really not good at. But what would you say something you're really not good at?
Oh, there's a long list of things. My wife would say details.
These-
But,
Hey, she better write it down if you want to hold me
I know.
accountable to it.
She's great too, by the way. Beautiful.
And congratulations on your recent marriage.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you,
I can't
yeah.
wait till your first year anniversary so I can dance.
Absolutely. No, you know what? The issue with dyslexia is I cannot spell.
Oh, okay.
I cannot
Okay.
spell. I struggle with spelling even to this day. It embarrasses me in different situations and circumstances, but definitely I'm a horrible speller.
Okay, you get through it though.
Yeah.
You learn to get through it. That's it. Hey, I got a couple more questions, but I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody I see in the feed. We got Cindy Michelle, one of my sponsors for 702 Braids for You. Hello, Amber Jones is watching. Hey, Life Coach Amber, Coach Amber J. That's it. And then we got Tara Brandon was watching. Courtney, we're going to get that information to you as soon as I finish these couple of questions. He's going to give you all the handles where you can get in contact with the program that he has. Cindy, where you been, my friend? Thank you for dropping in today. It's always a plum-pleasing pleasure to get the opportunity to see you in my feed and supporting your boy. I appreciate it. Yes, indeed. So here is one more question. If you were a type of food, what type of food would it be? I think I got an idea, but you can go ahead and shoot it out there.
Oh man. Well, if anybody. Oh wow. Okay, look. So I'm gonna get cultural.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna get Eastern on you. In northern Thailand, they have a mystical food known as khao soi gai. Khao soi gai, and it's half soup, half pasta. It's a red curry with coconut milk, so it's spicy and creamy
Okay.
at the same time. Usually served with the drumstick, so it's meaty in texture that you peel off the bone. It has egg noodles and crunchy noodles, so it's chewy and crunchy,
Okay.
with a little bit of pickled radishes and with some squeeze of lime. So it's sour and a little bit of sweet. It's a complete balanced combination of food, and I'd like to say it's an embodiment of who I like to be, or who I'd like to try to be. A balanced human being.
We got to work on that one. So you said northern Thailand, is that up by, let me see, Kuala Lumpur?
I'll say
No, that's Malaysia. I'm sorry. Thailand. So we go up to Thailand above Bangkok?
above Bangkok. The biggest city is going to be Chiang Mai.
Chiang Mai. Okay, because I've been to Patio Beach.
Okay.
That's a little further south, right? Yeah, then Bangkok, and then Chiang Mai. Wow. You know, I've been around. I know you done traveled extensively, and I've had the favor of traveling through the military and getting to a few places. So, man, but you made that sound like it would sound better than folk. Yeah, it sounds better than eating some pho. It got all this other stuff in it, you know? That's great, my friend. And when we're heading down the stretch, this is a tough one for you. And most of my guests they have a different view on what they look at in this one. So if you can switch lives with someone for a day, who would you choose? 24 hours, one day.
Living, right? Living.
Yes,
okay.
living or gone, it doesn't matter.
Living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody that
Let's
really
see.
enticed you or really is exciting or you stand by what they believe is your beliefs, go ahead and throw one out
Okay.
there.
I'm gonna go biblical. Why not?
Okay.
I'm gonna go biblical. Why
Okay.
not? You know, it's okay. Let's see. I'll go Moses.
Okay.
I'll go Moses,
Okay.
and I want to see that burning bush.
There you go. Okay, you
know,
want to get the real word.
Yeah, I want to get the real. I want to really.
I thought you was gonna say David at first
I
because
thought of David, but you know.
the school district is Goliath and we need to slay them and get them to understand. But no, Moses, I heard
Right.
that. Free your people, bro. Free
Yes.
everyone that's got dyslexia.
Yes, sir.
And we want to get you right. You know, and it's a challenge. Does it, like you said, is every single one of those kids are going to become scientists or nothing like that? No, but they still going to become a better person. You know, everybody doesn't reach that epitome of what their potential is, but if we don't give them an opportunity to, dang, we done already failed them. And you know, and that's what our education system is kind of doing right now, and it's a shame that that has to happen. But hey, it is what it is, but we gonna push, and I give you my word, and you know that's all I have. We need to try to make a difference, and I know you have a strategy already, but the more voices we have, like we say, if we take those 5 fingers and take those people and turn them into a fist, woo, we can go to punches with somebody, okay? And that might be what we need to do to talk to our superintendent and get him to realize what the school district is really missing the key on, and it is helping these young children and identifying. It's not a disease. It's a superpower. So we need them to identify and understand what this superpower is. Because they probably don't know the facts. They're educators. I know they've done a lot, but sometimes they get overwhelmed and forget about the little things that could change something big. And, you know, that's what society is about. So what I want you to do, man, you done did an amazing job. I love you, and it's all good. If you can tell us all your socials, how they can get in touch with your nonprofit, because one of the ladies asked about that, Miss Courtney Wormwood. Oh, Courtney, yeah. I used to actually mentor her son, so that's pretty good. He was in my program for a little while. Amazing guy, Kamarion. Absolutely amazing. Miss you, good big guy. Hope all is well. And give them some information about how they can contact you and everything.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much for that. So on Instagram, I'm at The Real Chaz Perez. Facebook, just Chaz Perez. Our website is brilliantchildren.org. Brilliantchildren.org. And with that, one word I would say is if you feel passionate about this, or if you perhaps know somebody who has dyslexia, or maybe you just feel compelled of how dyslexia is disproportionately affecting our children, what can you do? Get that TED Talk into the hands of educators. It's just 15 minutes at a time that could revolutionize how they think about early literacy, because we have to make a change, and it's affecting our kids. I call it the phantom menace of what's going on right now in terms of early education. So there you go.
Outstanding. Oh, Chaz, absolutely incredible. Now, Chaz, did I miss anything that you wanted to put out? I know I asked a few questions and we watched the video. We dropped some dimes and some gifts about what can be changed and what we can do. Was there anything that you wanted to get out and say that I didn't get hit on?
No, you're good. But John Curley, I do want to say thank you very much for bringing me on the show. It's been a pleasure knowing you all through the past 5-6 years or so. You are an outstanding human being.
Well, I appreciate that.
Every
sir.
conversation that I have with you, is full of salt and light and goodness and just power. I did actually, you don't know this, but there was a time that you were speaking during Payback. I did peek open the door a little bit.
Okay.
You didn't see me, but you bring the fire, sir. You bring the fire, and you are a transformational speaker. And congratulations on the early win that you had.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll talk about
talk
that.
about that
Yes,
too.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Well deserved. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I got an upcoming event coming up that I've actually been blessed enough with Nevada Partners over there off of Lake Mead Boulevard. It's going to be a 6-week life coaching program and life skills program that's going to take you from one level and identify some of the areas of strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to take those and put them into a plan that helps you become better in securing your future. It starts June 17th. It's on Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. You can contact me at Life Coach Kurt, or you can email me at lifecoachkurt.com, or you can hit me on my DM at Life Coach Kurtley, Life Coach Kurt Kurtley, and give me if you want to be a part of it. It's 6 weeks. It's 2 hours a night on Thursday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be providing, if you need transportation, we'll be providing Uber cards or bus cards, but you have to come every week for 6 weeks. There's going to be a huge graduation, and then after everybody graduates, a week later, they're going to do a camping trip out somewhere up in Mount Charleston, I believe it is. You'll get a $250 gift card to Burlington to go buy clothes and everything you need. This is going to be epic. I'm teaching 4 of the 6 classes, but I got 2 powerful speakers coming in to teach what they do and their expertise. One of them is trauma, and the other one is relationship building and understand the dynamics of dating. So, hey, if you're 17 to 24 or even older, I'll take it up to 30 years old, because we all don't want to miss an opportunity to get out in our community and let you know that we have all the tools you need to succeed. Just come and be a part of this event for 6 weeks, and I guarantee you when you walk out, your life will be changed. And we'll follow up with you and see what you're going, and you'll always have access to me if you stumble, if you get those deliberating beliefs that's just holding you back. We're going to go through that as part of the training in this 6 weeks. So I want to say stay blessed as always, stay blessed and highly favored. Shout out to my 3 sponsors. I got 702 Braids for You, doing the braids, frontals. We got new wigs, everything. She's just blowing up over there. It's absolutely incredible, the works that Cindy Michelle is doing. And then I got the Red Rum. We got the mobile hair salon with Jamisa over there. And last but not least, congratulations again to Sister Courtney. She got her new condo. Congratulations. Home ownership is a blessing. But you got Bougie Las Vegas, Bougie Girls. Go ahead and get some of this bling I'll be wearing. And also, I just wanted to, went by Chef Jeff Project today. You know, that's another program that I really am a part of and love watching the growth that we're doing over there. Chef Jeff is doing an amazing job with these young adults, and they're graduating from high school. They learn how to be top-notch chefs, and I go over there anytime I can and help them out, give them rides. This morning I went over there and bought lunch and breakfast and everything, so shout out to Chef Jeff Henderson and the Chef Jeff program. As I always say, stay blessed and highly favored. Living your best life with Life Coach Kurt. I'll see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you very much, and stay blessed.